Why is your partner conducting file checks on the front seat and rear seat passengers?
They provided their IDs.
Have they been suspected of committing any civil infractions?
No.
Have they been suspected of committing criminal activity?
No.
All right, court calls the cases of the people of the state of Michigan versus Darrell Lee Pruitt Jr., case number 253913 FY, and the people of the state of Michigan versus Jason Andrew Couples, case number 253911 FY. I know Mr. Pruitt has a few things going, but in regards to the new file, we are here for a motion to suppress and a preliminary examination, and same for Mr. Couples as well. Appearances, counsel?
Joanna Carey for the people.
Robert Hertel for Mr. Pruitt, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, man. Please, on the court, Kareem Johnson, for the Mr. Couples. We'll see it to my immediate left.
All right, thank you. Counsel, I guess my preference, and I think it makes the most sense to run the motion to suppress first before we go into the motion or for the preliminary examination. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Requires testimony. It
Yes.
would just be all one.
It does require testimony, Mr. Johnson.
I was going to join the prosecutor. Any hearsay that will be attributable to the Fourth Amendment issues, I trust the court to be able to, substitute that out and differentiate for exam purposes and motion purposes.
All right, Mr. Hartel, then based on that, do you have any objection to?
I wouldn't object, Your Honor.
All right, so we'll run them both at the same time. Ms. Carey, I guess before we begin, is there any preliminary matters that we have to address? Anybody?
On Mr. Pruitt, I'm not sure that we filed an amended. But we are proceeding on counts 2 and 3. Counts 1 and 4 were dismissed. So,
Mr. Pruitt, you said?
correct.
Yes, I have those. So Mr. Pruitt's charges would be delivery, manufacture of methamphetamine or PWID,
Correct.
and then PWID of fentanyl.
You may ask that the other charges be, depending on how the court rules, it may be added as a lesser included, but for today's purposes, we're starting with just 2 and 3. And like I said, we already dismissed 1 and 4.
All right. Any other matters?
It may be purely academic, Your Honor, but if we could put on the record that we are sequestering any witnesses, I don't think any are in the courtroom today, just a chaplain for one of the clients, if I understand correctly.
All right. Ms. Carey, I don't believe you have any in here, but just a reminder that we'll sequester any witnesses. All right, Ms. Carey.
Thank you. The people called Deputy Kyle Ramirez.
Deputy, you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? You may have a seat. We are having some recording equipment issues, so if everyone can just speak up to make sure that we're getting that, I'd appreciate it. Whenever you're ready, Ms. Carey.
Thank you, Deputy. Could you please state your full name for the record?
My name is Kyle Ricky Thomas Ramirez.
And what is your occupation?
I'm a deputy with the Western County Sheriff's Office.
How long have you been so employed?
Over 2.5 years.
Were you working on August 31st and September 1st of this year?
I was.
What was your shift?
It was 7 p.m. on the 31st to 7 a.m. on the 1st.
And do you recall what you were doing just before midnight?
Yes. Deputy Cole and I were conducting traffic patrol in Herring Township, and I received a silent observer tip.
Do you recall what time roughly you received that tip?
The tip came in at, I think, about 11:51 p.m.
And when you received that tip, what did you do?
I read the tip aloud, and both aloud and to myself. I read it aloud to Deputy Cole. Two males and a female. One of the male's girlfriends selling narcotics from Wright's Custom Auto Body, Leeson Street.
And how did you said you read it? How do you receive that tip?
They sent us a notification via tip on silent observer.
So after you received the tip, what did you do?
We started heading to Wright's Custom Auto Body to see if we can see anything suspicious from outside.
So what happened when you got to, what happened next?
As we were driving to the location, we saw a vehicle turn off of Leeson Street onto 13th Street. And we started to follow that vehicle, conducted a file check on the vehicles and fixed registration, and it showed not to have insurance.
So what did you do at that point?
We conducted a traffic stop and the vehicle pulled to the side of the road.
Where did the traffic stop occur?
It was on 37 Road near 34 Road.
And where is that located?
It's in Herring Township, Western County, State of Michigan.
And did that vehicle stop?
It did.
Do you recall the time of the traffic stop?
Traffic stop was about 12:06 a.m.
And after the vehicle came to a stop, what did you do?
I approached the vehicle and asked the driver for his license, registration, and insurance.
Do you recall where you approached the vehicle from?
Yes, from the passenger side.
And you had contact with the driver at that point?
Yes,
Do you recognize the driver?
yes, he is seated to Mr. Hartel's right.
May the record reflect he's identified Mr. Pruitt.
Deputy, can you give some more information? There's two people seated to his right.
Directly to his right, the first is
All right, just Mr. Hartel, any objection?
Not based on that additional question.
All right, this shall so reflect.
Were you able to determine who the registered owner of that vehicle was?
yes, it was Mr. Pruitt.
So describe your initial contact with Mr. Pruitt.
He provided me with his driver's license. I asked him to step out of the vehicle and join me at the front of my patrol vehicle. At that point, while I was looking at his license, I asked where he was coming from, where he and his passengers were coming from. Correct, sorry. I asked him where they were going. He said they were going to the city of Cadillac to drop his girlfriend off.
Did he make any other statements to you?
I asked him how long he had been with his girlfriend. He said several months.
And did you discuss anything else?
After I asked him about his girlfriend, I asked him again where they were headed to. And this time he said he was going to drop off his rear seat passenger that he also mentioned he had known for several months to Traverse City, where he resided.
And how many occupants were in the vehicle?
There was 3 occupants, 2 males and a female.
What did you do after that initial contact outside of the vehicle with Mr. Pruitt?
While talking to him, I conducted a file check on him, but after being done with his contact, I reapproached the vehicle and spoke to the front seat passenger female
And where did you speak with her?
at the front of their vehicle.
Outside of it?
Yes,
Okay. And after speaking with the front seat passenger, what did you do?
I spoke with the rear seat passenger.
Where?
I asked him to step out of the vehicle. He asked if he had to. I told him he did. Eventually, he stepped out of the vehicle and was out at the rear of that vehicle.
Do you recognize the rear seat passenger?
I do.
Is he in the courtroom?
He is seated to the right of Mr. Pruitt,
What's he wearing?
an orange jumpsuit.
There are 2 people to the right of Mr. Pruitt. Which one?
The gentleman dressed in white.
Thank you. I just want to be clear. Your Honor, may the record reflect he's identified Mr. Couples.
Mr. Johnson, any objection?
No objection for exam purposes, Your Honor.
This shall so reflect.
Deputy, please describe your initial contact with Mr. Couples.
I asked him where they were headed tonight. He said they were headed to Traverse City. I asked where they were coming from. He said the city of Cadillac. When I asked how long he had known the driver, Mr. Pruitt, he said he had known him for years. When I asked how long he had known the front seat passenger, the female, he said even longer than that. During our contact, he was confrontational, recorded me.
What was his demeanor was confrontational?
Yes.
And you said you spoke with the female passenger. Without telling me what she said, what type of story did you get from her?
A different story than the other two.
I'd object, Your Honor. It's still hearsay if he's describing what she said and she's not a party as a defendant.
Does that not go to the totality of the circumstances for the court to consider for the motion to suppress?
I retract.
Thank you, sir. After your contact, that initial contact with Mr. Couples outside of the vehicle, what did you do next?
Mr. Couples got back in the vehicle. I spoke to Mr. Pruitt again. I asked him if there was any weapons in the car. He said no. I asked if there was any cocaine in the car. He again said no. I asked if there was any heroin in the car. He said no. I asked if there was any methamphetamine in the car. He said none of that. And subsequently asked if I could search his vehicle.
Did you discuss with him anything else about the vehicle?
I had asked if he had insurance. He said he provided it to my partner, but the proof that he provided was expired.
So if I heard you wrong, I'm sorry. Did you say you asked him to search the vehicle?
I did.
And what did he say?
I don't recall exactly what he said. I know he didn't answer yes or no, so I informed him it was a yes or no answer, and he said no.
Okay. After you were denied consent to search, what did you do?
I returned my vehicle, requested Sergeant Hicks of the Cadillac Police Department respond with his canine to conduct a 300 sniff of the vehicle.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
It was my belief that some sort of criminal activity was occurring with the conflicting stories that I had received and their general behavior, demeanor.
So you requested Sergeant Hicks, and then what did you do?
I started filling out the citation for Mr. Pruitt.
What happened while you were working on that, on the citation?
Sergeant Hicks, right?
And about how long, if you know, did it take from the time you requested him until his arrival, Sergeant Hicks?
Less than 10 minutes.
Less than how long?
10 minutes.
How long does it typically take to prepare a citation in that type of citation?
About 10 minutes, depending on if the computer gives me any trouble.
Did you, what type of citation were you writing?
Initially, it was a no insurance ticket.
Okay, so while you're still working on that, Sergeant Hicks arrived, correct?
Right.
What happened after Sergeant Hicks arrived?
He requested we pull everyone out of the vehicle while he conducted his 300 sniff.
Did you do that?
We did.
And then what occurred?
Sergeant Hicks informed me that his K9 had indicated on the vehicle. I explained to Mr. Pruitt that we were going to be searching the vehicle. He asked if we could talk about it, and I told him no, and I'd be searching the vehicle.
And did you then conduct a search? What did you do next?
We did conduct a search, Sergeant Hicks and I did. I started in the front passenger side, and Sergeant Hicks started in the rear passenger side. As I was searching, Sergeant Hicks informed me that he had found a small bag of white crystalline substance.
What did you do?
I went back to Sergeant Hicks, also saw the bag in the backpack on the rear seat. Suspected to be methamphetamine. I finished searching that bag. I also found a scale and a small plastic bag in there.
Compared to where Mr. Couples was sitting, do you recall where that bag, what type of bag was it?
It was a backpack or something,
Where was that backpack?
directly next to where Mr. Couples was sitting.
So you saw what looked like suspected methamphetamine.
Objection leading.
Okay. I'll withdraw that. After you looked at what Sergeant Hicks wanted to show you, what did you do?
I searched the backpack and found a small bag of suspected methamphetamine, as well as a scale and a plastic bag. Also in the bag, I found a set of dentures.
What type of scale?
It was a small digital scale.
Had you seen one of those before
Yes,
in those types of situations?
typically in possession, drug paraphernalia cases.
Thank you. And After you found those items, what did you do?
I returned to the occupants and I asked whose dentures I had found in the backpack. And Mr. Couples replied they were his.
They were inside the same backpack as the suspected meth?
Correct.
And so after you spoke with Mr. Couples, what did you do?
I asked him if that backpack belonged to him. He said no. At this point, I detained him, placed him in handcuffs and put him in the backseat of my car.
And then what?
I continued searching the vehicle.
What did you search next?
Next, I was searching that same backseat area that we had found the backpack. Sergeant Hicks had moved to the front driver's seat. He notified me that he had found a small glass pipe covered under the driver's seat.
Did you, I'm gonna back up, did you find, you said you found the baggie, a scale, the suspected meth, did you, and was there anything else found in that backpack?
Yes, additionally, while searching the backpack, I found a wallet containing Mr. Couples, I believe it's a beta card, as well as a prescription bottle bearing his name
Okay. And that was
in the
in
backpack.
the back seat or in the backpack?
In the back.
The back, okay. Did you find anything else in the backpack?
Not that I recall.
Nothing of significance that you can recall?
Objection,
Okay,
already cast an answer.
clarifying. So after the backpack, what did you do next? What did you search next?
I went around to the rear driver and started searching there in that same general backseat area while Sergeant Hicks was searching the driver's area, and he notified me that he found a small glass pipe under the driver's seat.
So what did you do?
I went up front to where he had saw the pipe. I also observed it. He took pictures of it. I removed it. He took another picture of it, and I seized it as evidence.
With the items, I'm going to back up just a little bit. With the items that you found in the backpack, what did you do with those?
Those were also seized as evidence
By you?
by
Or-
Hicks.
Okay. So after the pipe was collected, what did you do?
I moved to the trunk of the vehicle and began searching the trunk. I found several duffel bags, moved those out of the way. Underneath those duffel bags, I located a black banker's bag with a dial combination lock on it.
And then what did you do after you found that black bag?
I searched inside of it and found more.
Were you able to, did you say it had a lock?
It did, it was unlocked.
It was unlocked, so you were able to look into it. And what did you find in that bag, if anything?
Several bags of suspected methamphetamine, fentanyl.
Can you describe those for me?
And there was several clear plastic bags containing white crystalline substance, a significant amount of white crystalline substance, as well as brown powdery substance, a large amount of that as well.
And what did you suspect those were,
I
if
said
anything?
methamphetamine and fentanyl.
After you located those items, what did you do?
I detained both the female passenger as well as Mr. Pruitt.
Did you have further contact with Mr. Pruitt?
I did. I read him his Miranda rights from a card I keep on my person and asked him about the drugs I had found in the vehicle. He said he had no knowledge of them.
Talk about anything else? Did he make any statements to you in particular besides denying that?
Yes, we spoke about Mr. Couples dropping off bags, he said, in the trunk of his vehicle. I asked him what kind of bags. He kept saying he didn't know what kind of bags. Eventually, he said they were duffel bags. I asked how some of his personal stuff like mail and a name tag from Walmart ended up in those duffel bags. Mr. Couples dropped them off in there. He told me he didn't know.
So besides those, the suspected narcotics that you found, what else did you find? You mentioned mail and the Walmart card. Where were those found?
In the duffel bags that were blocking the small.
Okay. Did that banker bag have any identification with it?
It did not.
did you do with the items found that you found in the trunk?
They were seized as evidence by me as well.
After that contact with Mr. Pruitt, what did you do?
I spoke to the front seat passenger after my contact with her. I attempted to speak with Mr. Couples. I read him his Miranda rights, and he denied the time
You denied one, I'm sorry.
to speak with me.
What was the significance of the items that you collected as evidence to you?
It was a large amount, more than is usually in possession for just personal use.
A large amount of,
Meth and fentanyl.
okay. And why do you think that?
Because of the large amount, it's untypical for someone to be carrying that much just for personal use in my experience.
And how many narcotics cases do you think you've worked on since you've been at Wexford County?
Over a dozen.
So you've seen methamphetamine prior to this?
Yes,
Had you seen fentanyl prior to this?
yes.
Have you worked anyplace else other than Wexford County as a law enforcement officer? What did you do with the items that you collected as evidence?
They were seized by me, and then they were packaged and put in the property of the sheriff's office.
Were any of those items tested in any way?
Yes, several of the items were sent to the Michigan State Police Crime Lab for chemical analysis.
The administrator has been marked as people in exhibit 1. Can you state what that is?
It's a lab report from the Michigan State Police Crime Lab.
And I'm going to ask you some identifying questions. Does it have an investigating officer on it?
Yes, that'd be me.
Does it have an agency number?
Yes, 83-250-1586.
What is significant about that number?
That is the case we're discussing now.
And how do you know that? Did you prepare a report?
I did,
And how was that report identified?
by the same agency.
And do those correspond?
Yes,
Okay. Does it indicate what agency this is from?
yes, the Wexford County Sheriff's Department.
And does it have a lab number?
Yes,
What is that?
GL 25-784.
Does it indicate what date the lab received it?
It does. September 3rd, 2025.
And does it indicate what date the lab completed their exam?
Yes, it's September 24th, 2025.
And does it indicate a date the report was issued?
September 25th, 2025.
Does it also indicate who the suspects are in that report?
Yes, it does. Suspects is Jason Andrew Couples, Melissa Ann Gotts, and Daryl Lee Pruitt Jr.
Does it indicate the items tested?
It does.
And What items? What's the first item that was tested?
Is agency item number 1, a heat sealed plastic evidence bag containing a non-plastic bag containing a crystalline substance.
Do you know what that was from the items that you collected?
Yes, it was the larger bag located in the black paper bag. Excuse me, no, that was, I don't recall exactly, I believe it's notated in my report.
Would it refresh your memory to look at your report?
It would,
Any objection, Mr. Hartel?
Not as long as it only refreshes recollection, he doesn't read directly from it.
Mr. Johnson, you may refresh your memory with the report.
I'm gonna hand you what I believe is your report.
agency item number 1 was the small baggie found in Mr. Couples' bag.
And does the lab report we were discussing indicate the results of their testing on that item?
It does.
And what were those?
Tested, it was identified as methamphetamine.
Did it give an amount?
Yes, 5.46 grams.
And does it indicate what item, agency item number 3 tested as?
It does.
And what was agency item number 3?
It was the glass pipe located under the driver's seat of the vehicle.
And that item was tested. Did it give a result?
It did.
What was that?
It was identified as methamphetamine.
And did they test agency item number 4?
They did.
And what was agency item number 4?
It was the large bag found within the black banker's bag in the trunk.
Does the lab report indicate a result for that bag?
It does.
And what is the result?
Identified as methamphetamine, 209.32 grams.
And agency item 6, was that tested as well?
It was.
And what were the results, if any, of that test?
It was identified as heroin and fentanyl.
And I'm sorry, I should have asked, what was that item? What was agency item number 6?
It was a plastic bag with brown, chunky substance in it, also located in the black banker's bag in the trunk.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, I may have asked this. What was the result of that test?
It was identified as heroin and fentanyl. It was 17.75 grams.
Thank you. There was another item tested, agency item 8, or at least it was sent. What was agency item number 8?
It was a small plastic containing a gray powdery residue found in a blue screw top container located in the black banker's bag in the trunk.
Was that item tested by the lab?
It was not.
Is that lab report signed?
This
By whom?
Mallory A. Smith.
Does it give what her title is?
She's a forensic scientist with the seized drug unit.
Thank you. Your Honor, I would ask for admission of exhibit 1.
Mr. Hartel, any objection?
I would not object, Your Honor.
Mr. Johnson, any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
1 is received.
I don't have any further questions for this witness at this time.
Mr. Hartel,
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Thank you for being here today, Officer. I'm gonna ask you some questions just to make sure I understand the timeline and everything. When you, in your part partner were originally going out to the scene, it was because, if I recall correctly, you said a silent observer tip, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then when you saw the vehicle that my client was driving, you started to follow it, that was before you would run the plate when you initially started to follow it, correct? If I understand what you were telling me correctly.
Are you asking if I ran the plate after we began following the vehicle?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Sometimes I phrase things poorly. All right. So when you were following it, it had nothing initially to do with a concern about it being road legal, any other reason other than the fact you were on that road for that tip that you had mentioned. If I understand correctly, right?
Yes, we just followed the vehicle as we follow. Yeah.
Okay. When my client pulled over, and again, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, including rephrasing it, that's fine. When you went up to the vehicle, you asked for the items and he gave you just the driver's license, right?
Correct.
And then you asked him to exit the vehicle,
Correct.
but you didn't do follow-up questions asking where is that insurance that I asked for?
No, the passenger of the vehicle was looking for that information when I asked him to step out.
And when he stepped out of the vehicle, the questions you asked him weren't insurance-related questions, were they?
They were not.
Okay. And then you talked, I believe you testified that you talked to the other passengers a little bit later, right?
That's correct.
And those questions also weren't insurance-related, were they?
They were not.
Okay. You mentioned, if I recall correctly, that you did end up eventually calling in for the canine, if I recall correctly.
That's correct.
All right. But you hadn't started writing the ticket before that, as far as the no insurance ticket?
I had not started before that.
All right. And if I recall correctly, you had a partner with you on scene,
I did.
and your partner also had not started writing the ticket before that?
He had not.
I'm not sure if you would know the answer to this or not, so I'll just ask, and feel free to tell me you don't know. But I believe you said that the canine, you were informed by your fellow officer that the canine had indicated there were drugs, correct?
That's correct.
Did he tell you how the canine indicated it?
Objection. Officer Hicks can testify to that. He is here.
Officer Hicks is here.
Yes. Or Sergeant
Well,
Hicks.
I believe it probably goes to the totality of the circumstances for the motion to suppress. I'll disregard it for the preliminary examination purpose, but for the motion to suppress, I'll allow it.
If you don't mind us.
I don't. He did not indicate how.
Well, that was easy then. I'm glad we got there eventually. All right, I appreciate that. And you said you were still writing the ticket because it takes you about 10 minutes to do that when the canine arrives, correct? Correct. All right. But as far as the entire initial purpose of the stop was, it was for the no insurance ticket, right?
That's correct.
All right. So when you were asking to search the trunk or the back of the vehicle, however we want to phrase this, that wasn't in a quest to find something insurance related either, was it?
No.
All right. I believe my co-counsel, or at least the counsel for the co-defendant may have some more questions for you. Thank you again.
I guess before I do that, Ms. Carey, do you have any redirect based on Mr. Hartel's questions?
No.
All right, Mr. Johnson.
Officer, how long you been on the force?
Just over 2.5 years.
Any law enforcement experience before Westbrook County?
No.
So you have 2 years of law enforcement experience, correct?
2.5.
2.5? So you're on duty this day and you indicate at around 11 PM, you get a silent observer tip.
Objection. That was not his testimony.
When did you get the silent observer tip?
11:50.
11:51. Did you put anywhere in your police report that you received a silent observer tip?
I did not.
Did you print out this silent observer tip
When?
at any point prior to
Yes.
today? Do you have it with you?
I do.
Okay, can I see it?
It is on the table.
This tip, it does not say who made this tip, correct?
Correct.
So you would agree with me that this is a unanimous tip? That's unanimous tip. Did the tip indicate how they know that there was suspected narcotics activity going on at this Wright's Custom Body Shop?
It is not.
Does the tip say whether or not they personally observed any narcotics activity occurring at this Wright's Customs Body Shop?
It is not.
Likewise, does the tip say that they purchased any narcotics from this Wright's Customs Body Shop?
It is not.
Okay. After you receive this tip at 11:51, do you actually go to Wright's Body Shop?
We were headed in that direction.
Okay. Did you ever make it there?
We did not.
Okay. Did the tip indicate any cars or traffic that was at Wright's Body Shop?
It did not.
So when you came across the vehicle that you wound up stopping, you had no information that that vehicle had been at Wright's Body Shop. Correct?
That's correct.
Did the tip give any names of the individuals that were supposedly selling narcotics at Wright's Body Shop?
It did not.
Did you call TNT or whatever the Michigan State Police Narcotics Task Force is around here and pass on that tip?
I did not.
Have you ever responded to Wright's Body Shop and personally observed narcotics activity?
I have not.
Have you ever responded to Wright's Body Shop and executed a search warrant regarding narcotics activity?
I have not.
Have you ever pulled over anybody within the past 6 months and that person had narcotics and they told you they got narcotics from Wright's Body Shop?
I have not.
You pull this car over and I think you said it indicated that you ran it in the file check and it came back electronic verification of insurance. No. Correct?
Correct.
Do you know whether or not insurance companies are required to provide electronic verification of insurance to the Secretary of State?
I do not.
Have you ever pulled over a car based upon an electronic verification of insurance code and the car was actually validly insured?
I have.
You agree with me that, as you said, when you pulled this car over, you had no reason to believe the car had been at Wright's Body Shop?
Other than there was no cars on the road and they were coming from the same road.
Well, I'm not, I'll take a seat, I'm not from here. Okay. How long does that road travel?
I can tell you the distance and how long that road is.
How many miles is it?
I couldn't tell you how many miles it is.
Does it leave the city of Cadillac?
It does.
Does it leave the county of Westford?
No.
Okay, so there's great distance in which I could be on that road and be going in the opposite direction of Wright's Body Shop.
I wouldn't call it a great distance.
There's some distance,
It's probably less than a few miles.
okay, less than a few miles. Would you, is it a back road or
It's a city street.
the traffic lights?
No, it has no traffic lights.
There's no traffic lights, okay. So now you pull this car over, and now the car is pulled over approximately 10, 15 minutes after you receive this tip.
Yes,
The driver of the car gives you a driver's license.
correct,
You're waiting for the insurance, correct?
correct,
You ask the driver to step out of the vehicle. Correct?
correct.
Why?
There was 3 people in the vehicle and I wanted to talk to him one-on-one instead of 3 people being standing there while I was talking to him.
Why did you want to talk to him one-on-one about whether or not the car had insurance? Were you worried that they were going to collude their statements about whether or not the car had insurance?
No,
Why do you have to step up the vehicle?
because it's within my purview to ask him to step out of the vehicle.
A lot of things are in your purview, but if it was a car full of
Asked and answered.
elderly, well, I'm moving on to a different question.
Okay.
Yeah. If it was a car full of elderly women, would you have asked the driver to step out?
That's not this scenario.
What I'm asking.
It would depend on the exact circumstances of the scenario.
Isn't it true you wanted the driver to step out of the vehicle because he has to open the door and that allows you to make plain view observations into the driver's side area of the vehicle?
No,
You have him then walk to the back of your, well, where do you have him go, the driver?
The front of my patrol vehicle.
in front of your patrol vehicle. And you talk to him,
Correct.
he tells you that he's taking his friend to Traverse City.
After he told me a different story, correct?
Did you look into the floorboard, the seat, the cup holder area as the driver got out of the car?
I'm sure I did.
You didn't see any narcotics paraphernalia, did you?
I did not.
You have the front seat passenger get out of the car.
Correct.
Why did you have her get out of the car?
For the same reasons.
And you haven't started writing any tickets yet, correct?
I have not. My partner's conducting a file check on both the front seat and rear seat passengers.
Why is your partner conducting file checks on the front seat and rear seat passengers?
They provided their IDs.
Have they been suspected of committing any civil infractions?
No.
Have they been suspected of committing criminal activity?
No,
So why are you running them?
because they provided their IDs.
Well, they didn't volunteer, you asked them,
We
correct?
asked them, correct.
All right. Why did you ask them for their IDs if they had not done anything wrong?
That's what I do for every traffic stop.
When you asked the passenger out of the vehicle, did you look at the floorboard, the seat, and the area in her immediate reach?
I'm sure I did.
Did you observe any narcotics paraphernalia?
No,
She tells you they're taking the guy in the backseat to Traverse City.
Objection, that wasn't testified to.
I'm asking. I mean, it's a leading question.
Oh, well, the question.
She tells you that they're taking the guy in the backseat to Traverse City.
eventually, yes.
Then you have the guy in the backseat get out of the car as well.
Correct.
I assume you have him get out for the same reasons.
Correct.
You have not started writing this traffic ticket at all.
I have not.
When he gets out of the vehicle, you make observations, the floorboard, the seat, the area within his immediate reach.
Correct.
You don't see any narcotics paraphernalia.
I do not.
None of these individuals appear to be high or under the influence to you.
No.
He eventually tells you he's going home to Traverse City.
Correct.
You then put him back in the car and ask the driver to step back out to re-interview him.
I believe he was out the whole time.
He was out the whole time.
Yes.
He denies you permission to search his vehicle.
Correct.
At this point, you have not even begun writing this traffic citation.
I have not.
How long have we been on the side of the road now?
I couldn't tell you an exact time. I can give you a ballpark.
15 minutes, so you can't even ballpark?
No.
After the driver denies consent to search, you radio in for drug dog.
Correct.
And then you go to write the ticket.
Correct.
You tell me it takes you 10 minutes to write a ticket?
Correct.
As the ticket's gotten large, bigger since the last time I got one, it's one small sheet, right?
That's correct.
You write the name, address, city, state, zip code, right?
Yep.
You check what misdemeanor or civil infraction, right?
Correct.
You write no proof of insurance, correct?
Correct.
You sign it and put the date.
That's not everything you do, but yes.
It's 5 lines. Right?
No,
How many lines is it?
I don't have a citation from me. I can tell you.
I love my car, but I guess it's not from this jurisdiction. It's smaller than a page, right? That takes you 10 minutes.
Correct.
And when the entire 10 minutes you're waiting, you still don't see any further gestures or anything from any of the individuals in the car.
No, I was filling out the citation.
And how long does it take for the narcotics dog to get there?
Less than 10 minutes.
No further questions, John.
Ms. Carey?
Did the tip that you received talk about the people involved? Did it state?
It said there was 2 males and one of the male's girlfriends.
And what, and how many people, and what was their makeup in the vehicle you stopped?
There was 2 males and 1 female being the girlfriend of the driver.
And when you asked initially Mr. Pruitt to step out of the vehicle, What side of the vehicle were you on
I had walked over to the driver's side as he was getting out of the vehicle.
as he was getting out?
Okay.
And so Mr. Johnson asked you that Ms. Gauss told you they were headed to Travers, is that right?
She eventually said that, yes.
Did she say, did she indicate how long she had known these people?
She did. She said that she had just met, well, she had been with her boyfriend for several weeks. And she said that she had just met Mr. Couples for that first time that night.
And when you asked Mr. Couples how long he had known her, what did he say?
He said years.
And when you asked Mr. Pruitt how long he had known her, what did he say?
He said several months.
Thank you. And how much traffic was on Leeson Avenue that night?
None.
And then from Leeson Avenue, where did the defendant's vehicle travel to?
It traveled on 13th Street and then turned onto 37th Road from 13th Street.
And from the time you initially saw the car until you pulled it over, how much traffic was there that night? And you indicated Mr. Johnson was trying to wonder why it took you 10 minutes to write the ticket. What else goes into writing a ticket besides just physically writing it?
I have to put in all the vehicle information, the VIN, the year, the color, registered owner, his phone number, his email address,
Where do you have to put that in?
into our computer system.
You do that while sitting in your vehicle?
Correct.
So it's not just getting out a pad and writing a ticket?
Correct.
Thank you.
Mr. Johnson, any recross?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not from here. Those streets that you said the car was traveling on,
Yes,
is that on the way to Traverse City?
in a roundabout way, yes. Not direct from where they were coming from, the state of Cadillac. That's it.
What's the question?
Terry,
Nothing further of this witness.
Mr. Hartel?
Just to confirm, sir, because some of this additional information does get me thinking a bit. You mentioned that the tip had mentioned 2 males and a female, correct?
Correct.
If I recall correctly, you mentioned when the vehicle was going down the road, the only thing you noticed after you followed it for a bit was the insurance issue with the plate for the stop.
That's correct.
Could you see exactly how many passengers were in the vehicle, other details about the gender and stuff before you pulled them over?
I don't recall seeing that.
Okay. All right, those were the only questions I wanted to ask. Thank you.
Ms. Carey?
Deputy Ramirez, did the vehicle have insurance?
It did not.
Nothing further.
Mr. Hartel?
But just to confirm, you didn't search the vehicle and all the spots looking for the proof of the no insurance, and the questions weren't in the quest for the proof of the no insurance, correct?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Ms. Carey?
At some point, Deputy Ramirez, did you speak with Mr. Pruitt about the insurance?
I did.
Have a conversation with him?
That's correct.
What was that conversation?
He told me that he had insurance on the vehicle. He said he had a proof of it. His proof was expired for several months at this point in time.
That's the proof that was someone in the car gave to you.
Correct.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Mr. Hartel?
But at that point, you didn't immediately write the ticket and cease everything else other than just writing that ticket, correct?
Correct.
All right, thank you.
Ms. Carey?
Nothing.
Mr. Johnson?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Deputy, I have a couple questions for you. How much time did this entire stop take
From when
from begin to end?
to when we lodged him at jail.
From when you pull the car over and you leave the scene to transport to jail, how long does that take?
I don't recall how long exactly that is.
Would your report indicate that?
I'm not sure if it has the time that we were cleared from it.
Do you know what time you were cleared from the jail?
I do not.
Any objection to him reviewing his report for that information to refresh his memory if it's in there?
None for me, Your Honor.
No, yeah,
Ms. Carey, go ahead and just look at it and see if it's in there.
It doesn't indicate what time.
Does not indicate.
It does not.
All right. And then we've discussed the female passenger, and I think I know who that is, but can you ID that person? Remember her name?
I don't remember that.
Would that
Melissa
be-
Gotts. I don't remember her middle name.
In your testimony, I wrote down that you believe some sort of criminal activity was going on.
That's correct. Your Honor.
What did you think was going on?
I suspected they were in possession of illegal narcotics.
Why did you suspect that?
Just their stories not matching in combination with the P3 tip and
P3 silent observer.
yes, Your Honor. And the Mr. Couples' anger or confrontationalness is common for, in my experience, from someone who is committing some sort of crime, trying to make me as the officer back off and kind of let them go without doing any further enforcement.
Do you encounter anger in other types of investigations?
Sure.
While you were, and I think I heard you answer this, but I'm going to ask it again. While you were questioning all three passengers, what was your partner doing?
He was conducting a file check on them, reviewing the files
And where was he doing that at?
from our vehicle.
You know when that file check ended?
I do not.
Had it ended by the time you called Sergeant Hicks?
Say,
You have one computer in your car?
we do.
So had it ended before you were writing the citation?
Yes.
Ms. Carey, does that raise any additional questions?
Um, uh, No, it doesn't. You did question all three. I'm sorry, it does. You did question all three occupants prior to contacting Sergeant Hicks.
I did.
And were those conversations, do you know roughly how long they were with each occupant?
Several minutes, if that, maybe a couple minutes.
Several minutes times 3. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Hartel?
Just checking one thing briefly, if that's all right. Officer, I know you just said a moment ago that you talked to all three individuals, correct?
Correct.
But you'd already decided to start asking them questions about drugs and things of that nature before you even started the questioning. Is that correct? Based on what you're telling us about the anonymous tip, things of that nature?
I didn't ask questions about drugs until after I had spoken with all three of them already.
But that was the reason that you were out on that road in general. That was one of the reasons you were motivated to take them out of the vehicle and talk to them individually. Isn't that what you were describing to us throughout these proceedings here today?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I think you've answered all of the questions that I want, but again, there might be more from Mr. Johnson. Or Ms. Carey.
Mr. Johnson?
nothing,
Ms. Carey?
Nothing further.
Deputy, can you, apologize, I didn't ask this earlier, when you were talking about what was found in, I can't remember if it was the backpack or if it was the banker's bag, you mentioned baggies. Is that correct?
There was a single extra baggie in the backpack,
Okay,
just one additional bag.
so the 209.32 grams of meth, was that one baggie or one
Yes,
bag?
that was in one bag.
The 17.75 grams of heroin combined with fentanyl or heroin slash fentanyl, was that in one bag?
That was in a single bag, correct?
After you finished with this case, did you go back to inspect anything or investigate anything at Wright's?
No.
What made you follow this vehicle? Were you the one driving?
I was not, my partner was.
Your partner was. Did you have any conversation about that vehicle before you decided to follow it?
We talked about the vehicle coming off leasing from where we had gotten the P3 tip. He asked if we should check it out, and I said we should.
At that time, when did you learn it didn't have insurance? Or at least came back
When we
with
were
no
falling
insurance?
behind it,
Do you remember where though? Roughly
after it had turned on to 37 road.
after it turned on to 37? And did you encounter it before or after it left Leeson Avenue?
We saw it leave Leeson Avenue on 13.
So headed towards 37, it would have taken a left-hand turn on Leeson or on 13th Street?
Yes,
Gone about a mile and a half roughly to 37.
somewhere around there.
Had it made the corner onto 37?
When we had gotten the return,
Yes.
it may have, I can't say for sure, Your Honor, exactly when the return came back and I read it.
And then you said the stop happened near 34 Road and 37,
Yes,
which would be about a mile,
give or take, yes.
a mile after turning down to
Yes.
37. How long did it take the K9 to run the car? If you know.
I would say about 5 minutes, Your Honor.
I think that's all I've got. Ms. Carey, does that raise any issues or questions? Mr. Hartel,
No, it does not.
Mr. Johnson?
No, Your Honor.
All right, may this witness be excused?
Yes.
You may step down. Your next witness, Ms. Carey?
Call Sergeant Zach Hicks.
Sergeant, if you want to come up here to the stand. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You may put your hand down. Whenever you're ready, Ms. Carey.
Sir, could you please state your full name for the record?
Zachary Hicks, Zachery, last name Hicks, Hicks.
What is your occupation?
I'm a sergeant with the Cadillac Police Department.
Specialties?
I'm a canine handler.
And were you working on the morning of September 1st?
I was.
You recall assisting the Wexford County Sheriff's Department that morning?
I did.
Where at?
I believe it was around 37 Road and 34 Road in Wexford County.
And why were you called there to assist?
I was called to assist by Deputy Ramirez with the canine.
And do you recall what time of day you received that call to assist?
My report reflects around 18 minutes after midnight.
And do you recall, where were you when you received that call?
At the Cadillac Police Department.
So you had to drive from downtown Cadillac basically out to 34 and 37.
Correct.
Do you know how long that took you roughly?
I'd say 10 minutes or less.
What's your K9's name?
Attila,
What type of training does your K9 have?
she's a dual purpose narcotic canine. So she's trained to detect narcotics,
Specific ones?
specifically meth, cocaine, crack cocaine, and ecstasy or MDMA.
And describe how she's trained. Does she hold any certificates?
She does. So our initial training was cumulative. It was over a month long in northern Michigan, K9 and Claire. And that was back in May of 2023. And every year we go back and about the same time in May and recertify.
Was she recertified then in 2024?
She was.
And she was recertified in 2025?
Yeah.
Sergeant, can I get you to speak up too?
Yep.
Thank you.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as people's exhibit number 2. Could you identify that for the court?
So that is my recertification for myself and Attila, and that was dated May 29th, 2025.
So besides this yearly certification, are there other trainings or testing that she has to do?
So generally we do 16 hours a month of maintenance training.
And so generally, have you been doing that this year?
Yes.
Have you done it every month since May?
Yes,
I would ask, and to be clear, this is a copy of the certificate, correct?
correct.
I would ask for admission of People's Exhibit 2.
Mr. Hartel,
I don't have any problem with being a copy, Your Honor.
Mr. Johnson?
No
Well,
objection.
do you have an objection to it being admitted, Mr. Hartel?
No objection.
All right, People's 2 is received.
When you were, how is Attila trained to, what does she do if she indicates for narcotics? How does she let you know?
So there's a change of behavior, and normally it's something like a change in pattern. So if we're walking around a car one direction, she'll have a quick change of direction. She'll show interest in an area by like intense sniffing, closed mouth breathing, sniffing at the nose, not panting, interested in certain areas. And most of the time there's a trained final response at the end of that.
You were called to the scene. Why were you called there?
I was called to do a pre-air sniff around the vehicle at the Wexford County stop.
And so upon arrival, what did you do?
I had them bring the people out of the vehicle, and then I conducted that sniff around the vehicle.
Do you recall what type of vehicle it was?
That was a passenger car,
Okay. Big, small,
just a regular sedan.
okay. And tell me what you did, what's entailed in doing an open air sniff with Attila?
So I walk her around the vehicle on leash. And be directed to sniff the vehicle from the outside.
And did she do that in this case?
Yeah.
And what was the result of you walking her around the vehicle?
So I had a couple of those behavior changes that I mentioned earlier, had those present as well as final indications, multiple final indications on the passenger side of the vehicle specifically.
And when she indicated, roughly how long do you think, if you know, did the open air sniff take?
Roughly, I would say less than 5 minutes, like that we were walking around it, is what you mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. After. So that indicated to you there were, what were those indications for, by the way, from Attila? What did you read those as or take those as?
The odor of narcotics was present.
Okay, and based on those indications, what did you do next?
I notified Deputy Ramirez that there was an indication.
Okay. And then what was your next involvement?
When Deputy Ramirez was searching the vehicle, I assisted him.
And where did you search first?
The first spot I searched was in the back seat area.
What did you find, if anything?
So there was a bag or backpack on the back seat area. So I searched that. I found a little bag, a clear baggie with white crystal-like substance.
What does that mean to you?
To me, based on my training experience, I suspected that was methamphetamine.
Had you ever seen methamphetamine before?
Yeah.
Have you had cases involving methamphetamine before?
Yeah.
How many?
More than I can count, but I would say more than 10 at least,
Okay. And how long have you been in law enforcement?
since 2018.
When you found what you suspected to be methamphetamine, what did you do next?
I alerted Deputy Ramirez and he took over searching that bag for me.
And what did you do?
I kept searching in other areas of the vehicle.
Did you find anything else?
Under the front driver's seat, like kind of where the front driver would have his feet, and then just a glass pipe tucked into the carpet. Move that and had some residue on it.
And then what did you do?
I notified Deputy Ramirez of that as well.
Okay. Did you search any other areas?
I did. Later, I searched part of the trunk. I found it was like a stocking cap that said Flint on it. And in that stocking cap, I found another glass pipe with residue on it, as well as some copper colored, like a scouring pad, and metal, kind of like steel wool consistency.
Why is that significant to you?
It's based on my training experience. It's been used as like a filter from smoking narcotics with meth.
Did you find any other items in the trunk?
I did. I found some documents with Daryl Pruitt's name on it. Also, in the very back of the trunk, I found some documents with a Julie House's name on it.
Why is that significant? You know that name?
I believe the name was mentioned in prior contacts with Daryl as somebody that he knew.
Okay. Do you assist in any other way?
I believe I found in the center console, the front passenger compartment, like between the driver and the front passenger, I found a credit card with Daryl Pruitt's name on it.
Okay. Did you assist in documenting the evidence?
Yes, I was asked to take photographs as Deputy Ramirez's camera died.
Okay. And did you take photographs?
I did.
I have quite a few photographs. I can mark them each or as one.
Let's just mark the packet, and then if you want to just number the pages underneath. There's a marker if you.
Do you want me to mark them with him?
Why don't you mark them just number wise, and that way he can refer to them.
I'm going to show you these one at a time. What's been marked as People's Exhibit 3. And I'm going to put put a number 1 at the bottom right of the first one. And I'm gonna show that to you. Could you describe for the court what that is?
This is a picture of a bag or backpack on the back seat of the vehicle.
Do you recognize that bag?
Yes, that's the bag that I spoke about that I found and suspected bag.
Does that photo accurately depict what you saw?
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you what the now marked in the bottom right hand corner is page 2 of this exhibit and ask you to describe that for the court.
So that's a picture of a small baggie of white crystal-like substance suspected methamphetamine, and it's on top of that bag that I found.
And does that accurately depict what you saw that night?
Yeah.
Or found that night?
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm going to show you what I've marked page 3 in the bottom right hand corner of this exhibit and ask you to describe that for the court.
It's a picture of a prescription bottle with the name of Jason Couples on it. And I believe this was something that Deputy Ramirez found in that same bag.
But you documented that.
I did that.
Does that accurately depict what you saw that night? I'm going to show you what's been marked. I'm marking as page 4 of this exhibit in the bottom right hand corner and ask you to identify that for the court.
Appears to be a beta bus card for Jason Couples.
Can you photograph that? Does that accurately depict what you saw that night?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what I'm marking as page 5 of exhibit 3 and ask you to identify this for the court.
This is the glass pipe that was tucked in the carpet under the driver's seat.
Where is that located?
It'd be just behind where the driver would place their feet in the forward, under the front driver's seat.
And is that where you found it exactly?
Yes,
And does that accurately depict what you saw?
yes.
Thank you. I'm going to show you what I'm marking as page 6 of exhibit 3 and ask you to identify that.
That is that same glass pipe with residue that I found under the driver's seat. Just pulled out of the spot it was at.
Removed. Do you know who removed it from that spot?
I did.
Okay. And that accurately reflects what you saw?
Yes.
Show you what I'm marking as page 7 of exhibit 3 in the bottom right hand corner. And ask you to describe that for the court.
That is a Walmart card for Daryl.
Yeah. You photograph that. Does that, do you know where that was found?
I believe that is the car I found in the center console in between the front driver and passenger seats.
And does that accurately depict what you saw that night?
Yeah.
Morning, I say night, morning,
Yes.
early morning. I'm going to show you what's been marked. I am marking as page 8 of this exhibit and ask you to describe that.
This is a black bag that Deputy Ramirez found in the trunk of the vehicle.
You took that photograph.
I-
Does that accurately reflect what you saw that night? I'm going to show you what I'm marking as page 9 of exhibit 3 and ask you to identify that for the court.
That's the inside of that same black bag that I spoke about. That was found in the trunk.
What does it show inside of that?
Shows a plastic baggie with a large amount of substance in it, and it looks like a couple needles, possibly the edge of a scale.
And I'm going to show you what I'm marking as page 10. Exhibit 3. And ask you to identify that for the court.
That's the plastic bag that was in the black bag that we just spoke about. It's what appears to be a large amount of money.
That accurately reflect what you saw that night?
Yes.
And you took that photo? Of exhibit 3 and ask you to identify that.
So another picture of a baggie that was in the black bag. Appears to be a brown powder.
There, something else in that picture.
Roll bag, also that large.
That photograph, that accurately what you saw that night. Thank you. I'm going to show you what's been marked, it's page 12 of exhibit 3.
Yes.
And ask you to identify that.
Another picture of the outside of the black baggie, another smaller clear baggie next to it, and a couple needles.
And you took that photo?
Right.
And does it accurately depict what you saw?
Yeah.
I'm going to show you what I've marked as page 13 of exhibit 3 and ask you to identify that.
It's a picture of, I believe it's Deputy Ramirez holding.
Does it accurately depict what you saw?
Yeah.
I'm going to show you what I marked as page 14 of exhibit 3 and ask you to identify that.
This is the stocking cap that I mentioned earlier that found in the trunk that says pulling on it. Next to that is a glass pipe that has residue.
Does that photo accurately depict what you saw that night?
Yeah.
I'm going to show you what's been marked. I'm marking as page 15 of exhibit 3 and ask you to identify that.
It's wrapped up in a piece of paper is the copper colored charbroil or scour cap that I spoke of. That was also found in the hat and the trunk with the pipe. It's also part of the pipe.
Does that accurately depict what you saw that night?
Yeah.
I would ask for admission of exhibit 3.
Mr. Hartel, any objection? Mr. Johnson?
No objection, Your Honor.
3 is received.
I can't remember what page, but the photo with the large quantity of what you suspected to be methamphetamine, what does that indicate to you?
It'd be more than user amount, more like a delivery situation or a selling situation.
So, no,
Narcotics.
thank you. I don't have anything further.
Mr. Hartel?
Yes. Thank you. If I recall correctly, were you saying that you've been with the K-9 unit since 2018?
I've been with the Cadillac Police Department since 2015.
Oh, okay. How long have you been specifically with the K-9 unit?
I've had Canine Attila from May of 2023.
All right. When you mentioned a while ago, and I might be using the wrong words here, but train final indicators, was that the word you used? Okay. Could you describe what those are?
So usually after you see the change of behavior that I spoke about, the dog is trained as a final indication. It's different with dogs or trainers, but in this case, the indication is to come to a fit position.
Okay. Is that true for any narcotics that she might find, regardless of the type?
Right, she can't talk, so she's trained to find her range, so it doesn't matter what it is, it's gonna be the same.
You were saying that she was a dual purpose narcotics. Was there any, does the dual just mean the different types of narcotics, or is there more to it?
It just means that she's trained in other narcotics as well as other disciplines.
Is she trained in the detection of marijuana? Do you know when the dog stops receiving that training? Canine officers?
For marijuana.
Were they ever trained in that, to your knowledge?
I don't know, but she has never been trained.
So to be clear, though, you can't, might be kind of a silly question, but she's not gonna be able to be Scooby-Doo and tell you specifically there's a specific type of drug in there. It's just the sitting down as the indicator and you go from there, just to confirm, correct? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. When she does that, do you know specifically what part of the vehicle she's saying it's in, or is she, based on your experience with her, just somewhere?
So she's trained to try and find the source. Just depending on the vehicle and the situation and the wind, there's a lot of factors. But she's trained to get as close to the source as possible, but it doesn't always mean that. Generally, she can smell that.
I believe you answered all the questions I had for you, but there may either be some more from Ms. Carey or from my co-counsel.
Ms. Carey, do you have any redirect? Mr. Johnson?
Sergeant, I think you said it took you 10 minutes to get there after you were requested to arrive. Is that correct?
Approximately.
How long were you on scene before my client's couples was arrested?
Don't recall specifically.
What time did this stop in?
I don't recall specifically.
Purpose of you bringing your drug canine unit is to ascertain probable cause to search vehicle.
I was requested by the sheriff's office.
Right, but that's the purpose of a canine unit, correct?
It's to see if the odor of narcotics is present.
Just so you can search vehicle.
Sometimes it happens.
How long was the dog sniffing the vehicle?
From the time I got her out of the car,
Yep.
I'd say around 5 minutes.
Okay. How long was the search of the vehicle?
A lot longer than that.
Okay. You have no estimation?
More than a half hour. I'd have to review. I don't know.
Thank you. No further questions.
Ms. Carey?
Did you date when you stopped,
When I cleared the scene,
you cleared the scene?
yeah, my report was,
Did you prepare a report?
I did,
Do you have that with you?
I do.
Do you know were Mr. Pruitt and Mr. Couples arrested before you cleared the scene?
Yeah,
Do you know how long between the time of their arrest and the time you cleared?
I don't recall specifically.
Okay. And again, I believe you testified you were asked to arrive, you were asked to go assist at 12:18.
Correct. I have 12:18 on my report, whether that's the time I got there, or the time I was asked to go there, I don't recall specifically.
Is there a way to find that out? Do you know?
Probably through dispatch.
Okay. All right, I don't have anything further.
Garretto?
Very briefly, I know you're talking about the indicators with your, I always forget the right, I don't want to be offensive, canine officer. Is that the right term to use?
Police dog. There's a lot
Okay.
of different names.
I just want to make sure we respect like trooper versus deputy. All that. Is there anything based on your experience with this exact dog that would be false positive? You've had any issues with that?
I mean, obviously, if the dog just sits when they don't have the behavior changes before, that's usually something that's would possibly be that.
All right.
That's something I trained to watch for.
All right. I appreciate you giving the context for that. Thank you again, officer.
Ms. Carey?
Attila's indication was not a false positive in this case, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Mr. Artell?
Nothing else.
Mr. Johnson?
Nothing else.
Sergeant, you're not certain, I want to make sure I'm clear on this. You're not certain that the time indicated in your report would have been when you received the call or when you arrived on scene?
I can't say for certain. That's just the time that I have documented.
All right. Normally, when you write your report, how do you document your time?
Normally, when I write my report, that would be the time I was called. So that first time would be the time that I was called. So if I had to, I won't say guess, but educated guess, that would be the time that I was asked to go.
So when you received the call?
Correct.
And did you go to the scene lights and sirens or just normal?
Normal driving.
And can you describe for me, if you recall, the path that you would have taken to get there, or that you took to get there?
So at that time of night, all the lights on Mitchell Street are flashing. I recall going right down Mitchell Street, so I wouldn't have to stop for, there might be one or two in between that don't flash, but most of them are flashing. And then right down 34 Road, 37 Road.
Now, you indicated that there are, or at least if I understood the testimony correctly, that there are multiple final indicators.
Dogs are trained different ways, was all I was getting at.
Is your dog trained different ways?
She's trained to sit as a final indication.
Right. Along with the change of behaviors, what you look for.
Correct.
All right, Ms. Carey, does that raise any additional questions?
No, not.
Mr. Hartel,
No, thank you.
Mr. Johnson,
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Carey?
Probably not too important, but Sergeant, did you make any stops from the time you left the police department until the time you arrived at the scene?
No, I wasn't.
Roughly, do you know about how far that is?
4 miles, I would say. If I had to guess.
Thank you.
Mr. Hartel, Mr. Johnson?
No, Your Honor.
That raised a question for me, I guess. Do you have to, when you received the call, did you have to get your canine ready, or was it already in the vehicle?
She was already in the vehicle.
She's already in the vehicle. All right, so you just have to get in the vehicle.
Correct.
Did you have to do prep before you left? Ms. Carey,
Nothing further. Thank
Mr. Hartel, Mr. Johnson?
No, Your Honor.
May this witness be excused?
you.
Permanent or temporary? You may step down and go about your day. Thank you. Your next witness, Ms. Carey?
Thank you. People will rest.
All right, so since we're still running these together, Mr. Hartel, do you have any proofs for either the motion to suppress or the prelim? Mr. Johnson?
No, file, Your Honor.
All right. Then let's do argument. Let's address the motion to suppress first, and then you can argue for the prelim. Ms. Carey?
Both, I mean, each motion is a little bit different. But ultimately, I'm going to rely heavily on my written responses and the testimony in this case. I believe this was not a prolonged detention or a prolonged, unlawfully prolonged stop. And I believe that Deputy Ramirez did have probable cause to search that vehicle. He received a tip that narcotics were being dealt and used at Wright's Auto on Leeson Avenue. He went to Leeson Avenue and saw the defendant's vehicle leaving. There were no other vehicles. He ran the plate, or his partner did, and they came back with no insurance. So he conducted a stop. Inside the vehicle were 2 men and a female, which had been indicated in the silent observer tip. They questioned them, which they are allowed to do, as I went into detail with in my written responses. Allowed to question them, allowed to ask them out of the vehicle. He did that. They gave conflicting information, and while before he started writing the vehicle was finished, Sergeant Nixon arrived, he conducted the canine tip, and he indicated, based on the totality of the circumstances, motor vehicle exception, he searched the vehicle and found a lot of narcotics. A lot, 209, I think, of meth in the trunk. 5 grams in Mr. Couples' backpack, along with fentanyl, along with drug paraphernalia. I believe, based on the totality of the circumstances, was lawful. There is probable cause, frankly, to bind the matter over. And I know we're doing just the motions, but I would ask the court deny both motions. We've certainly, in response to Mr. Pruitt and Mr. Hartel's motion, answered the question about the dog and the training. But based on the totality of all of these circumstances, I'm going to ask the court to deny both motions.
Thank you. Mr. Hartel?
Yes, Your Honor. I would ask the court, I mean, I can't speak for both, obviously, but I'll in a minute won't speak for my client. I would ask for the court to grant our motion. I do believe the stop was prolonged. I do believe the officer testimony, they didn't know the exact times, both the officers, but there was testimony that took quite a while. There was the fact that the stop, it's suspicious at a minimum, and I don't want to over conjecture at that, but they were following the vehicle before they knew about the no insurance. Then they pull them over. Then they go through all these other steps before they even start writing the tickets. And as far as the inconsistent stories, travel stories, I know in my motion, at least, I don't remember if Mr. Johnson did so as well, but in my point number 6, where I cite 2 cases, United States versus Step and People v. Oliver, where the courts were consistent in those cases from 2012 and 2005, that inconsistent travel stories alone do not create a reasonable suspicion. I asked the court to weigh that in. I realize that people are making more arguments than just that. As far as that part, I asked the court to factor it in. People can have inconsistent travel stories for various reasons. Maybe they're tired. This was barely after midnight. Maybe there's a bunch of variables at play. It's a relatively large stretch of road. People can be out there for various reasons. It boils down to the fact that all of the questions, for the most part, as far as separating people, all these details, the vast majority of the questions had nothing to do with the insurance. Search had nothing to do with the insurance. And the ticket didn't start getting wrote until significantly towards the tail end of this. I would also ask the court to factor in that, well, I'll save any argument that I would make for the prelim part for the prelim, but I do believe it'd be appropriate to grant this motion. Thank you, Your Honor.
I want to make sure I heard you correctly. Did you say the stop was suspicious?
I do believe overall it was, Your Honor. I know that's not entirely the point of this motion because we're talking about other variables, but if they're making this initial thing due to the fact that there was this anonymous tip, which I don't remember initially being in the discovery that we received, but I know that it came out. I know that came up in some of the questions that my co-counsel did with the officers.
But are you saying that they didn't receive the tip?
I'm not saying they didn't receive the tip. I'm saying that I wasn't necessarily aware of the tip in all of its detail before we came in today. And I'm not trying to make a problem about that. I'm not trying to object to that. I want to be clear.
No, okay.
But I'm not trying to say the stop necessarily was illegal. They did have a valid reason to stop with no insurance. I realize plain sight doctrine says that you can stop for that reason. There's case law that supports that. Defense attorneys might have opinions on that, but that's neither here nor there. But it does seem to me that the officers had already decided they were going to find a reason to pull this vehicle over and they were going to find a reason to search it. And the insurance seems to be even afterthought. It was drug out as long as possible to justify the search. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist with this, but that's how at least it feels as a defense attorney. And I did feel important to think that's stated. Thank you.
Didn't Deputy Ramirez testify that the reason for the stop was the no insurance?
That was the reason that was stated, yes, Your Honor.
So, and I believe he also testified that they got that back before they made the stop. Got it back that there was no insurance, at least as Secretary of State.
Yes, but they started following the vehicle before that for the reasons that were also stated on the record. Because
Law enforcement, can they not do that?
I'm not saying they can't.
Okay.
I'm just saying it seems from a defense perspective that this stop may have been prolonged for various reasons, but it doesn't change the fact that the information they had could have been writing the ticket right away. It could have been done a lot quicker. I do feel it was prolonged inappropriately. Thank you.
So I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
Oh, it's okay.
I just want to make sure I'm understanding your argument.
Yes.
You're not arguing that they didn't have a reason to stop the vehicle. You're arguing that the stop was prolonged. It went longer than was necessary to write a ticket for the no insurance case.
That's the boiled down part. I know I threw in a bunch of extra words, but yes, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, okay. Anything else?
Not on behalf of myself, at least not.
All right, Mr. Johnson?
Thank you. Do you mind if I go to the phone?
No, go ahead.
See, I'm gonna take a kind of different approach to my co-counsel here. I think just by nature of the argument, all three parties agree this stop was prolonged. The government's response, testimony from the witnesses, the stop was prolonged. Counsel says the stop was prolonged. I say the stop was prolonged. So phase one, I think everybody's in agreement with. The issue is, was the prolonged detention justifiable? Right? The lead case on this is Illinois v. Warley. And I don't even know why there's a bunch of subsequent cases on this, right? In that case, if I pull you over and just so happens there's a drug dog in the area and the drug dog is being taken around the car while I'm simultaneously writing out the ticket for the traffic stop and the drug dog hits, that's not a prolonged detention. If the drug dog isn't there at the moment you pull the car over, then the detention is prolonged. So what we have to get to is whether or not they had adequate suspicion, either reasonable suspicion or probable cause to do so. Now, after the motions were filed, we find out in the people's response that there was this anonymous tip. It's not in the initial discovery. And the court
I
has to.
object to that because it's in the video. Deputy Ramirez makes a statement, and if they watch the video, they would hear him say it to Sergeant Hicks.
In his police report, he does not put anything about the anonymous tip as a reason for a stop. And the court should take it, that's why I questioned him on that. And the court should take that into consideration. If he believed that that anonymous tip gave him reasonable suspicion to stop the car, it would be in his report. But it does not, and it cannot. Let's go back over the anonymous tip, Your Honor. The anonymous tip has no specific detail as to how this individual knows there's narcotics activity going on at this Rice Body Shop. They don't say that they personally observed it, that they bought narcotics, that they used narcotics, that they saw anybody else use narcotics at that location. The anonymous tip doesn't even say what type of car these individuals left in, if they even left. So when we have this traffic stop, once the officers are going in the direction of the Rice Auto Body Shop, as acknowledged on cross-examination, they had no information that that car was even at that body shop at the location of this anonymous tip. Now, when you look at anonymous tips, you know, we have Florida v. JL, which talks about the type of detail that needs to go into an anonymous tip in order for it to rise to the level of reasonable suspicion and probable cause. And this anonymous tip does not do that. So the officer pulls the car over for this traffic violation. And it's pretextual, with nothing wrong with that, right? They're using the traffic stop to investigate narcotics, right? So now this is just a run-of-the-mill case you see all the time, whether down in Detroit, Lansing, whatever, right? You got a traffic stop, but you want to investigate drugs because you think drugs have been going on at some other location. What does the officer not do? He doesn't ask, he asks them where they're going, but then asks them where they're coming from. If he'd asked the driver, anybody in the car, where you coming from, and they'd have said Rice Body Shop, I wouldn't even be, right? But he doesn't ask, they don't say that. What else does the officer not observe? He doesn't observe any indication that any of these individuals are intoxicated, are under the influence of narcotics, nor does he see any narcotics paraphernalia as he's talking to them. So at this point, he has a traffic stop for no proof of insurance and hasn't done anything under the law that allows him to prolong this stop to investigate narcotics. He gets these individuals out of the car, and again, he interviews, based on his testimony, each individual for several minutes, driver being twice. Never asked them, where you coming from? Again, if the answer is Rice Body Shop, probably not here. They don't make any observations, again, of any narcotics activity when they're right there on the scene. And although I agree with co-counsel on his recitation of the law on inconsistent statements, I believe the statements are inconsistent. They are all consistent on the most important fact. Where you going? You taking Mr. Couples back to Traverse City. What's suspicious about that? They're on a roll, that would lead them back to Traverse City, right? So it's not like they saying they're on the way to Traverse City, but they headed towards wherever, whatever city's in the opposite direction of Traverse City. So he's got a story. They're going in the direction of that story, but now he's continuing to prolong the detention, right? The drug dog isn't even called yet until after this second interview of the driver. So now the court has to say, has Officer Ramirez or his partner gotten any information to elevate the suspicion of the traffic stop? If the court agrees with me that the unanimous tip did not rise to the level of probable cause and did not rise to the level of reasonable suspicion to believe criminal activity was afoot to pull the car over, then the court has to now look at, during the valid purposes of the traffic stop, did the officer ascertain any information that would elevate the level of suspicion for narcotics activity? The answer is no. And now we have a denial to search the car. That can't be used. The assertion of a constitutional right, can't be used to elevate the suspicion. So now we're calling the drug dogs out and for what? What did he see, hear, smell, or notice that lead him believe that there was narcotics in that car? Because at this point, I think the detention is way past the Terry stop, right? It's not doing anything to fill out the ticket for the no insurance. So it's our argument that he would need probable cause at this point to continue this detention. And there's clearly nothing has occurred to rise to the level of probable cause. Now the drug dog is called out. We have another, at least 10 minutes, for the drug dog to get there. And the drug dog is now searching for what? What did what information did the officer have to believe that narcotics was in that car? Because, I'll tell the court about narcotics cases. There could have been narcotics activity at Wright's auto body shop, and all the narcotics could have been left at Wright's auto body shop while they went to Traverse City, right? So they would not only need, there's no search warrant issue with Wright's body shop, right? But they would need some level of suspicion, whether reasonable suspicion or probable cause. And at this point, because of the length of detention, I think we're at probable cause to believe there was narcotics in that vehicle. They didn't have it. That's why he asked to search the vehicle. That's why they asked to have a drug dog come to get the probable cause to search the car. And of course, once the drug dog hits, there's probable cause to search the car. So now the court has to say between at what point should the officer just say, you know what, it may be there, I can't get to it, I gotta write this ticket. It surely should have occurred after all three people said, we take couples back to Traverse City. Re-interviewing the driver, ran us in for what? Ask to search the vehicle at that point for what? And so now it just becomes a comfort thing, right? We only here because they found drugs, right? We wouldn't be here if they didn't find drugs, but that's the purpose of the Fourth Amendment. The people that founded this country, they were insurrectionists, they were spies, they were treasonous. They wanted to have a mechanism in which people could commit crimes and be protected from the government. We don't like to say that, but that's the point of the Fourth Amendment, to have some sort of protection, from governmental interference. So people, law-abiding citizens don't need it, right? Law-abiding citizens don't need the Fourth Amendment, right? It's only criminals that need the Fourth Amendment. And the framers of this country, both state and federal, have given them that protection. And I think the court should apply that protection here and exclude the evidence found as search of the car. For exam purposes, this is a question of fact. So not even gonna get to that. Does the court have any questions of me?
I do not.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Carey, any rebuttal?
The stop was initiated at 12:06. Sergeant Hicks was likely called at 12:18. Deputy Ramirez indicated he spent 2 or 3 minutes talking with each person, which he was completely within his rights to do, to talk to the occupants and gather some information. And he did that. He didn't prolong that. He immediately, before starting writing his ticket, got in touch with Sergeant Hicks. So that within 12 minutes after he talked to everybody and got some varying stories on where they were going and how long they had known each other. And eventually, yes, they all agreed they were going to Traverse City, but it's not where it started. And there were definite discrepancies in what they said and how long they had known each other. And as he was writing the ticket, Sergeant Hicks arrived. So if Sergeant Hicks was called at 12:18, he got there, he testified in less than 10 minutes. He had to travel 3 or 4 miles with relatively no traffic and no traffic lights. It didn't take him very long. We know Cadillac well enough to know that. And then he searched the vehicle in less than 5 minutes with the dog before it indicated. This was not a prolonged stop. And I think based on the totality of the circumstances, given the tip, which again, Deputy Ramirez did not put it in his report, but he did mention it in the video that was provided to defense, that they had received a tip. So based on the totality of the circumstances, the minimal traffic that time of night, seeing the car leaving the area, checking it, if the car had insurance, that would have been that, but it didn't. So they stopped it. And it didn't have insurance. And initially, Mr. Pruitt only handed over his license while the passenger was looking for the insurance. Eventually, the insurance was handed over and they were able to check it and it was expired. But all that takes time, and it didn't take a lot of time. So I asked the court to again deny both motions and bind the matter over.
Thank you. Well, case law tells us that when a court is asked to determine whether or not the length of the stop is prolonged, we don't look at the totality of how long the stop takes. We look at how long it is prolonged from the officer determining essentially that, or from maybe not when the officer determines, but from when the traffic stop should have ended. We've heard a lot about the tip today. Well, that wasn't admitted into evidence. It was testified to that there was no names given, no indication as to how they knew that drugs were being sold or transacted. No description of the vehicle. Essentially, the only thing that we have that would tie this stop to that tip is that there were 2 males in the car and 1 female, and that the female was a girlfriend. And then that was borne out in the testimony that was developed after the stop. The tip came in at approximately 11:51 p.m. The stop was made at approximately 12:06 a.m. That's 15 minutes between the tip being received and the stop having occurred. Now, the court will take judicial notice, because I am familiar with that area, that Wright's Custom Body Shop is about a 1/4 mile on Leeson Avenue from 13th Street. And then, as was borne out in the testimony by the deputy, about another 1.5 miles between Leeson Avenue and 37 Road. The court will also take judicial notice that 37 Road is a road that a lot of people take to go up to Traverse City, up through Miataka, Summit City, and the back way into Traverse City. And with a car that is not legally able to be driven because of no insurance, it's not out of the realm that the vehicle would have been traveling back roads to avoid, even though this was late at night, to avoid the possibility of being stopped on 115 which would be another way to get up to Traverse City, and where this stop had occurred would only be about a mile from 115. So whether or not they were going to take 115 or go up through the back way, it is at least plausible to the court that the vehicle could have been on its way to Traverse City. So doing some math, we've got approximately 15 minutes between the time that the stop occurs until after the tip comes in. Now, what we don't know is exactly how long or where the deputies were and had to travel to get to Leeson Avenue, or how much time elapses between receiving the tip and encountering the vehicle. That's unknown to the court. But presumably it would only take cars traveling at a normal rate of speed just a couple of minutes to get from Leeson Avenue to where the stop had occurred. Then we have the stop. And while there is case law that says that conflicting stories might raise some suspicion that crime is afoot, that's not the only thing that the court would need to consider. And it has to be a substantive issue to rise to that level. And the officer has to be able to articulate an articulable suspicion, reasonable articulable suspicion that crime is afoot. Now, Ms. Carey cites People versus Williams in her response to at least one of the motions, and I think it was in both, which is cited at 472 Mich 308. The court finds that that case is distinguishable from this one because the inconsistent statement, or the statement in that one case that doesn't make sense, is because that statement made law enforcement was factually just completely inaccurate and couldn't have happened. In that case, the occupants of the vehicle had indicated they were going to, I believe it was Sheboygan, they were going to stay at the Holiday Inn. There was no Holiday Inn in that town. They were going to be there for 3 days, but yet there was no luggage in the car. That rose to that level. The mere fact that while it might raise a suspicion, I don't think it's to a suspicion that crime is afoot, is that they disagree on how long they've known each other or where they might be going or are going to. But when I take where eventually they land on, they're going to Traverse City to drop Mr. Couples off, and they're on a path that could take them to Traverse City, I don't think gets us there. And then when we have the officer testifying that Mr. Couples was argumentative, I asked whether or not that's necessarily uncommon. And he agreed that that was not necessarily an uncommon thing that happens. So then we get to the calling of the drug dog. We know the drug dog is called in at 12:18 based on the testimony today. It takes approximately 10 minutes from Sergeant Hicks' testimony to get to where the stop had occurred. But before that, and telling to the court, is Deputy Ramirez began writing the citation at the time that he called the drug dog. That's the indication to the court that he determined at that time he only had sufficient evidence to write a no proof of it or no insurance ticket. And from that point forward, any amount of time it took to prolong the stop, and outside of the time necessary to allow the ticket to be written. As such, I find that the waiting for the drug dog to be called to the scene unlawfully prolonged the stop, and therefore any hit that drug dog made and any evidence as a result of that is suppressed. So essentially, the search of the vehicle, I shouldn't say essentially, the search of the vehicle is hereby suppressed and any evidence coming out of that. As a side note, I'll just state that when I was a prosecutor, I remember having this conversation with law enforcement a lot about prolonging these stops to wait for a drug dog. And this is a perfect example. Sometimes Sometimes there just isn't probable cause. Had the drug dog been called at the time of the stop had actually been made, we might be a different story. But where the drug dog's called at the same time that the ticket is began to be written, we know that the file checks were all done because there was only one computer in the car. So there was no reason to prolong the stop longer than necessary to finish writing the citation. With the suppression of the evidence, I find no probable cause to bind the case over. Case is dismissed without prejudice.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Hey, thanks for watching. Please do let us know in the comments what you thought of this video. If you'd like to support what we do here, the best way to do it is to pick up some of our merch. You can find it at courtroomfiles.com.